Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome everyone. Today we will study the technical way of learning languages by applying our intonation, our engagement, and our overall placement as per the following text. Communication, words and language. Human language is denoted by the emergence of words that help to define, apply, and understand the expressions and gestures used in communication, from which are expressed not only concepts, but feelings and emotions, movements of the will, as well as in the sounds of animals. The word of man is the predominant and most enduring material in the evolution of our species on planet Earth. When we know how to organize them by giving them form and order, they become meaningful, giving way to a fleeting feeling that the words are alive, awakening the receptive reader through the centuries. Soon after, several types of interjections appear or arise from diversity, requiring the use of the passage of time, nouns, adjectives, articles, pronouns, verbs, numerals, and so on. Learning a language correctly is not simply a means of indirect spiritual development, but also a direct way of delving into our history and culture in an efficient way. Language is a subset of words used in order to justify and conceptualize the different gestures, acts, and expressions. The fundamental aspects of language learning are in speaking, listening, understanding, and becoming capable of telling apart feelings, expressions, gestures, and actions due to the fact that we are communicating. For example, I speak, you listen, you understand. Why? Because we are speaking the same language. I speak, you listen, you do not understand. Why? Because we don't speak the same language. Therefore, when I start speaking, you need to listen to be able to understand so that later we can properly communicate. This is the fundamental principle of communication. The basic protocols of communication are found in the parameters and their defining concepts. As follows. When I speak Portuguese and you understand Portuguese, the parameters are the same. When I speak English and you speak Portuguese, the language parameters are different. One is on stop bit 7 and other one is on stop bit 8. Therefore, there will be loss of signal or mismatching in our understanding. For this reason, English is commonly used on computers as the basic platform in communication around the world. Communication is not a byproduct of human invention, but it is also used by animals and other living beings. The dolphin has a natural sonar, the eagles and the hawks have a long-range vision, the owl and the bat have an infrared vision, the bear has an acute sense of smell, wolves have a sharp hearing, and we humans possess all of it, but in small amounts. The tool I will use today is mathematics as a graphical instrument of all this that I previously cited. The ability to perceive or notice this preciousness or skill requires something that few know how to use, the noise of silence. Mathematics has a standard model used in all parts of the planet by mankind, but despite its few evolutions, unfortunately it has been underappreciated over the years, making it difficult to understand that its sole purpose is equality and respect for difference. Things which are equal to the same thing are equal to each other, as stated by Euclid's first common notion in mathematical reasoning. I will use the following attached video to clearly demonstrate this communication process.
The idea in subtracting fractions and mixed numbers is pretty much the same as the idea of adding, in the sense that we need common denominators in order to begin the process, and then we deal only with the numerators. For example, if we want to subtract 1/5 from 4/5, then we notice that we have common denominators, and all we do is subtract the numerators. So this is really 4 minus 1 over the common denominator 5, so the answer is 3/5. A lot of times when we subtract, we'll set up the problem vertically, and here 7/12 minus 4/12. Now notice we have a common denominator already, so we don't have to make common denominators. And all we're doing is we're dealing with our numerators. 7 minus 4 would be 3, so this is 3 over the common denominator 12. Now we see that we can reduce the fraction for the answer. 3/12. We have 3 that can cancel with the 3 in 12. And there are a lot of ways of thinking about this, a lot of right ways to deal with it. If we simply say 3 into 3 goes 1 and 3 into 12 goes 4, that's perfectly all right. Now another way to think about it is like this. We can actually rewrite this as 3 over 3 times 4, and now cancel the 3's. Just realize, though, that when you cancel the 3 in this numerator, what's left is an understood 1. So it's important to have 1 over 4 and not 0 or just nothing in that numerator. A 1 is left. And really, you can think of this as 3 times 1. You see that we actually have here, and the 1 is understood as the factor partner in the numerator. Okay, to get 1/4.
In order to understand what is happening in this video, it is necessary to know what the video is showcasing and its overall context, because regardless of what language is being used, when we know mathematics in our own language, our understanding is the same. Phonetics is the science of speech, whose function is to articulate the sound of the written word. Every word has a predetermined frequency, however, the diversity of peoples around the world eventually changed the proper sound of words to a lower level, resulting in what we know today as an accent. The designation for accent refers to the native sound of those who learn or teach in the pronunciation and sound emission of the mute words of English typically found and described in books, texts, and articles. Pronunciation is the closest way to reproduce the original sound of the word with the addition of grammar according to phonetics, morphology, and syntax in the spelling of the word. The way we articulate words classifies us in life, work, and society. It is the duty of educators and teachers to teach the art of speaking and expressing words. In India, for example, there are 147 types of different languages, better known as dialects. For this reason, language is a byproduct of the words that form our basic understanding of communication. The ability to learn one or more languages lies not only in their complexity, but rather an accumulation of words and sounds used to describe our world and its inhabitants, referring to the language you want to learn, in order to communicate with other people spontaneously and naturally. Therefore, engagement and intonation are vital to avoid the collision of words in a dialogue or conversation in order to achieve sufficient mastery and proficiency in the desired language.